It's 9th of July, Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their Pick 8. Sign up with our code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Build your own betting model using their AI betting engine. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Monday, the 8th of July. We are here to handicap a full card. We've got 15 games. We've got 15 sets of lines. We've got no excuses for Tuesday, the 9th of July. Joining me to pick all of these winners is Mr. Scott Reichel. Scott, hello, mate. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty well. I did the show yesterday with Lonte. I don't believe any of our picks started yet, but yeah, the card on Monday, not very good. So the card on Tuesday looks a lot better.
I don't know if it's not very good. You just said that. And Gio mentioned that in the chat as well. It just looks really hard because I was trying to find a little YouTube short to put out earlier on, Scott. And it took, normally I'll have a little look. I'll think, oh, that'll do. I'll pick that. And I could not find one. And it was meant to be a 30-second job. And 20 minutes later, I was still going. As it happens, I ended up picking the Pirates at -120, and the Pirates got the job done earlier on. But I have bet the Nationals. Miles Mikolas, my absolute nemesis, is dealing as per usual whenever I back against him. So that's 2-0 to the Cards. Mid-5, so the Nationals fight back can start here. So we can live sweat that one. Yes, it is. It's Monday, Scott. I've come in full uniform. You might have noticed Newcastle Nighthawks cap, Newcastle Nighthawks jersey. I thought it's a Monday. We're going to start the week all business. So I'm sitting here in full uniform. You've gone company merch because you're a company man, Scott. Nice touch.
Yeah, doing my best.
Beautiful. So if we can't pick winners just like this, I don't know when we can. I did want to send out some little good wishes to Munaf, who's getting swirled around in the hurricane somewhere in Texas. I think everyone's all right, but there's not much power kicking around. So hope you're okay, Munaf, and indeed all our listeners who might be affected in that area of the country. Just stay safe, look after each other. You did Sunday night, Scott. Oh, do you know what happened last night, Scott? I went to bed and I put a little podcast on, like I always do, to help me sleep. And I use YouTube music, and whatever I was listening to finished, and it automatically just puts the new podcast. And you and Lonte came on, so I woke up about 3 in the morning in a little daze, and you and Lonte, and I tell you what, you were very soothing, Scott. I think you and Lonte have the most soothing. I'm quite loud and agitating, I imagine, if you're trying to go to sleep. But you and Lonte had me sleeping like a baby, so that was a nice touch. Does that make you feel a bit creepy?
No, not at all. I appreciate it. I feel like it's kind of ironic, though, because Lonte and I would have noticed from the times of our episodes, we're kind of the speedrunners of the channel. We really speed through our episodes. So the fact that you find it soothing and we're also going through games as quickly as possible, I guess, is a kind of it's a paradox. Let's put it that way.
Lonte's got that really deep, rich voice as well. Had me snoring away in no time. Me and Dylan tend to be quite quick. I think we bounce off each other a little bit rapidly. So there you go. In the comments, Gio was first in. Just be Trev. Come on, Trev, try harder. Max is pushing, go yard or go home. Max's agenda. Not on my watch, Max. I'm sticking with dingers. Paradox Party. He's asking me about, is that the Toledo Mudheads?
Yeah.
I'm guessing, are they the affiliate of the Reds then?
Yeah, they're the minor leagues of the Reds.
Right, okay. I know, yeah. I know the team, I just don't know if they were affiliates. But mate, you send it to me. I'll wear it. I can easily be bought. Dave's in as well, Dave Giroux. And Callum getting his loyalty card stamped from the Premier League Gambling Podcast. We've got the two semi-finals, Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'm sorry, what podcast? What podcast is it? Premier League Gambling Podcast. What podcast is that?
Yeah, the Premier League Gambling Podcast is I don't know, really good looking lad hosted. That'll be back next month. But up until then, the Euro 2024 Gambling Podcast. What's it? Tomorrow, Spain and France should be a great game. And then England against the Netherlands might not be a great game, but might be exciting. So yeah, get across that. Scott, still knee deep in Wimbledon. How's your look on the tennis?
Fine. Last podcast wasn't that great. Had a parlay today that won, so can't complain. Gonna have an episode tonight about the quarterfinals.
Okay, quarterfinal. There you go. Oh, so get across and find that. Fun weekend of action in MLB. There seemed to be lots of runs. Every time I checked the scores, there was some team had ran up 17 runs or other. And there seemed to be lots of walk-offs. It was a bit of a walk-off weekend. So hopefully we can get some more winners going. We will start with, I'll tell you what I'll do, actually. We like to plug a little show or two here. I can't believe I've got to plug Munaf the Machine Manji and Chris getting ready for the NFL season on the Propcast. It's actually a very, very good show. They've got episodes dedicated to season-long props and the awards market. And one of my absolute heroes cracks me up completely, CJ Sullivan, had his road to $10 million on bottom line bombs. Tune in wherever you get your podcasts or the SGPN app. Right, we'll make a start with the Nationals have got a runner on. Concentrate, Malcolm. 6:35 Eastern first pitch between the Chicago Cubs and the Baltimore Orioles. Shota Imanaga for the Cubs. Dean Kramer will go for the Orioles, who are minus 165 at home. The Cubbies plus 135, and the total is 9.5. I did say to you just before we started, Scott, I've struggled a bit here with my picks. I think are really boring. I sort of occasionally, I like to go off script. I like to find an underdog. I like to find an angle in. I've got loads of unders, so I've got loads of totals in general. I've got loads of unders, and I got loads of chalky ones. This actually, the prices on this, because Imanaga's such a big price, has nearly made me pivot a little bit. He's in a rocky patch. Absolutely, is he in a rocky patch? 10 earned runs at the Mets, and then 3 earned runs in the 2 starts since he had a 5.67 June ERA. He gave up 17 earned runs in June. He only gave up 9 in May. So he was literally nearly twice as bad. Dean Kramer's been inconsistent in terms of the length of his outings, for example, and certainly in the results. He had June off with an injury. Came back with 5 scoreless last week. So I think Kramer and the Orioles are hoping that the break has fixed him. I actually thought that Baltimore and Kramer would be a backable price, but minus 165, I don't think they are, because Imanaga's demonstrated what he can do. Once he's demonstrated that skill, for me, he owns it. The fact that he's wobbled a little bit doesn't make him a bad pitcher. I'm going to absolutely pivot here, only because I saw these prices 10 minutes ago. At the prices, Scott, I'm going to take the Cubs at plus 135.
Yeah, so Kramer came back from injury last start. He was actually pretty good. Gave up no runs against the Mariners. Mariners can't hit, but still a good performance nonetheless. Still want a bigger sample size. We know the Cubs are not very good on the road. Baltimore's good everywhere. But I think for the sake of this matchup, I might blindly back Imanaga, and I'm just going to ignore Kramer. There's a bit too much uncertainty. Give me the Orioles' first 5 team total under. Game total's at 9.5.
Okay,
you can probably find this first 5 team total at potentially 2.5. Probably, I don't think it's going to be 3.5. It's probably 2.5, maybe at plus money. I'll back Imanaga. I'll ignore Kramer. I think that this price is a bit large for the lack of recent, I'd say, sample size for Kramer, because he's made 1 start since coming off the IL. I don't trust the Cubs either. So I'll back Imanaga. Give me the Orioles' first 5 team total under.
Okay, so a couple of angles in the back Chicago there. Like that, Scott. Captain Insano has joined us in the chat. I learned something about Captain Insano last night, Scott, only because the Waterboy came on the TV, the movie, and
Powerbomb,
the wrestler,
courtesy of
yes,
Captain Insano. Yeah, of
Exactly.
course.
So we've talked about how very few movies I've seen in my life. It's about 7 in total. And then, sure, I nearly fell off my chair. I was so happy. I was like, that's where it comes from. I've talked to
Mhm.
Captain Insano on and off for 4 years now. And now I know where his name comes from. So, yeah, there you go. A little bit of knowledge for those Sports Gambling Podcast Network completists out there. I added that to my list of things I know about you people. 6:40 Eastern first pitch. The Cleveland Guardians at the Detroit Tigers. It is Ben Lively. It's called Ben, isn't it? Yeah. Ben Lively for the Guardians. Kenta Maeda for the Tigers. We have odds of -145 Cleveland, +125 Detroit. Total 8.5, Scott.
Yeah, so we already know Cleveland's the much better team, despite the fact they demoted half the rotation, which is pretty funny. But they're still a very solid team. Detroit recently has been in better form, did end up sweeping the Reds over the weekend. And don't look now, but they got some reinforcements back into the lineup. Can I interest you in Javi Baez, who came off the IL today? So we'll see how he's going to end up looking. But yeah, it's a shame for me because I've been betting on Kreidler unders pretty much ever since he joined the league, and his no-hit prices were incredible for like 2 weeks. So unfortunately, that ship has sailed. He got demoted since Javi Baez came back. You might end up seeing
Okay.
McKinstry in this matchup because he is a lefty and Lively's a righty. I'm going to back Lively, though. I think he's been solid this season. Maeda has an ERA north of 6. I think he's very good. Detroit, despite looking good over the weekend, and Maeda being decent at home, he gave up 9 runs last start against Minnesota. Probably not ideal. Last home start, he ended up giving up 3 runs, 8 hits, and 4 2/3 against the White Sox, of all teams. You're looking at the Tigers. They have lost each of his last 7 starts. That's good enough for me. Give me Lively at a pretty cheap price.
Yeah, Maeda's on the no bet list. There's nothing much you can do with him, and he looks like he's going through it mentally as well as sort of physically on the mound. He just knows it. Almost looks like he knows it's not going to happen when he gets out there. I like Ben Lively. I think he's got a good record, 8-4, and I haven't got the numbers here, but I think he's probably won at some fair prices during the course of the season. He's slightly underrated. Um, I mean, Cleveland are unbelievable at home. They've got the best home record in MLB. On the road here, but they can get to Maeda here. The angle I've got is a Cleveland team total, Scott, which I'm guessing will be over 4.5. See, Detroit were quite lively, pardon the pun, over the weekend. Got that series win against the Reds, who had just beat the Yankees. So there's kind of form lines all over the place. But yeah, happy with the Cleveland team total.
I'm just confused by
Right.
the price, though. We mentioned that Imanaga is pitching for the Cubs, and the Orioles are -155, 165. Cleveland's only 145. I mean, I get home field advantage, but like, really? I feel like that's a pretty cheap line when you're fading Maeda, who's been terrible the entire season.
Yeah, I just don't think Lively's the name really, is he? Like, um, even if it was Tristan McKenzie or somebody a little bit more recognisable, I think there's just Lively goes ever so slightly under the radar. Next game on the card is a 6:40 Eastern first pitch between the LA Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. Bobby Miller for the Dodgers and Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. -140 at home, the Phils. +120. The Dodgers total is at 8.5. Bobby Miller, his results still haven't been great. He's returned from the IL, has now had 6 starts, but he's sitting with a 6.12 ERA. He's shown a few signs of improvement. There's a couple of little green shoots of recovery in there, but still not enough to make me want to back him. He's still walking too many batters, which was just a little bit of a red flag about his command control, etc. Zach Wheeler has been very, very good. He's given up 5 earned runs, over 20 and 2/3 in his last 3 starts. He's got a 176 home ERA. That's over a 10-game stretch as well. That stat jumps out a mile when you're trying to handicap this game and find something to split them. Philly are great at home as well. We just mentioned Cleveland. I think Philly are probably second in behind Cleveland in terms of the home record. Similar price, -140. Scott, a little bit boring, but I like it.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because I can't tell if Philly's slumping or that was just the end of a tough road trip with them playing the Braves, but they got buried the last 2 games of that series. They're at home, though. They're 33 and 14 at home. Dodgers, as you said, are starting Miller. Not a big fan of his. I think most people are not. His ERA is 6+ and his WHIP's 1.6. So I think I'm going to have to go with Wheeler. I'll go with the first 5, -0.5. I just think Wheeler's going to pitch well. Miller, I think, is going to struggle. Maybe the bullpens have some issues, but I do think the first 5 run line is worth consideration here. I just think it's a good price. If you want the full game run line, you can get that at +140. I don't hate it. But I don't trust Miller at all. So give me Wheeler to outpitch him. Just give me the Phillies first 5.
It wouldn't surprise me at all if Bobby Miller just throws a gem because we know he can. We just talked about Imanaga has demonstrated that he owns that skill. But Miller just hasn't done it yet this season, and he will. Maybe September might be a great time to get him. There'll be a little run of games where we can get Miller because I do like him a lot, but not just quite in this spot. A walk prop that Captain Insane was mentioning is absolutely a legit way to attack this team. Underdog Fantasy has their pick 8 now live. You can create entries with up to 8 picks. Underdog automatically double flex entries, so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win. There's more picks to make and extra ways to win. The excitement is higher than ever. The best part is that you can win up to 325 times your original amount. So don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. Use our code MLB SGPN, forgot the code there, to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MLB SGPN. 6:50 Eastern first pitch is the New York Yankees at the Tampa Bay Rays. Left-handed pitcher Carlos Rodon for the Pinstripes. For the Rays, it will be Ryan Pepiot, we never know. The Rays are +105, the Yankees -125. Total is 8, Scott.
Yeah, the Yankees are favored with Rodon pitching. Yeah, that's a good joke. I'll take the Rays. I don't know why Rodon's favored ever. He's been terrible for the last month. He had a great start to the season, kind of like the Yankees. He's kind of the perfect, I'd say, synopsis in his own right of the Yankee season because he was really good randomly, and then he's been terrible, and the team fell apart. So give me Tampa in this one. Do I think Tampa's a good team? Not really, but the Yankees have had issues in the Trop for a while, and we know Tampa tends to perform well against this team. But Rodon, I can't back. He's terrible. He gives up basically 3+ runs every start. He's gotten buried for a month straight. So give me Tampa on the money line. Give me Tampa first 5 team total. Might be 1.5 again, just based on where this actual total is located. But damn, Rodon's been terrible. Yeah, I can't actually take that price. Give me the Rays at plus money.
Paradox has just mentioned this is a classic example of a Yankees tax here because Rodon is, my age on the no bet list. Rodon had a 7.76 junior ERA. His one start in July, gave up 3 against Cincinnati last week. The Yankees are in horrible form. 6-16 in their last 22. The Yankees, with a pitcher who's struggling, and you want me to take him at -125? No, thanks. Pepiot's been going not much length. He rarely surpasses 15 outs. Walks too many batters as well. He could be another walk prop here. So I can't take him to pitch the Rays to a win, even against this misfiring Yankees team. But I do like the runs. The Yankees have been still capable of. They blew up for 17 or something one night over the weekend, I think it was. But 8 seems like a low total here with 2 pitchers who were perfectly capable of giving up a few runs. So yeah, I'll take the over 8 here. This kind of hits my run of totals. I've got about 7 games in a row. We're going to go to the totals here, Scott. Next up, 7:10 Eastern. First pitch to the top of the page is the Washington Nationals at the New York Mets. Jake Irvin for the Nationals. Left-handed pitcher Jose Quintana goes for the Mets. The Nats are +115. The Mets are -135. Total here is 8. Jake Irvin has been brilliant lately, and he's been a good bet. You tend to get Irvin in the Nationals at quite a good price. He's definitely been a profitable follow, Irvin, lately. 7-6 on the year with a 2.80 ERA. His last 3 starts, he's only given up 2 earned runs across 20 innings. Struck out 23 batters in 3 starts as well. So a K prop for Irvin is absolutely live. However, Quintana's been just as good. 0-2, 0-1 in his last 4 starts. The Mets have won 4 of his last 5. Pitchers, Julia. Under 8, Scott.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the under. The only question I have is, do you care about immediate rematches? Because Irvin just shut down the Mets, and now they're facing off against him again for like the second time in a week. So, do you think the immediate rematch with film on the guy is going to result in him getting shelled, or do you think he can actually pitch well against the same team 2 times in a row?
Try to care about it, and I always get it wrong. So I've just
Okay.
now I try to ignore it.
Fair enough. Just asking. Because Irvin went 8 innings to give up 1 hit against the Mets. So he was phenomenal. He's allowed 2 runs combined in his last 3 starts. So he's been unhittable, basically. Quintana's been okay. The Nationals offensively have been kind of up and down, but I think mostly down is a good way to put it. I like the under in this game. I see a low score, maybe the first 5 if you want to go for that, because the Mets bullpen and the Nationals bullpen can both implode at different points. Give me the first 5 under, probably like 4.5. I think you're going to see a low scoring game.
Yeah, I mean, someone needs to tell me something about this immediate rematch, because you'll speak to people who swear by it. I've tried it, and like I say, I just can't seem to get a handle on it. So, yeah, whether it's a thing or whether it's just me being incompetent, which is entirely possible, Scott, but something's in there. Next, 7:10 Eastern first pitch is the Colorado Rockies at the Cincinnati Reds. Cal Quantrill gets the start for the Rockies. For Cincinnati, it will be Frankie Montas. The Reds are minus 170 jollies here. The Rockies plus 140. Total here is set at 9, Scott.
So the Rockies we know are terrible on the road. Offensively, they've been bad recently. I think they've scored less than 5 in 6 straight. The Reds got swept against the Tigers, but I have to ask you, who has the better starting pitcher in this matchup? Is it Quantrill? It might be.
Yeah,
Plus
there's an argument
140.
to be made.
I'm not going to turn that down. It's plus 140 with argue with a better pitcher. So I'm going to lean to the Rockies, but damn, I hate that bullpen so much. That is such a terrible bullpen, and they're so bad on the road. But I think Quantrill's undervalued here. I'll go with the plus 140.
Yeah. If I was forced to pick a side, that's the side I would pick. But like I say, I'm sticking with a lot of totals here. The Rockies have actually won 3 of Quantrill's last 5. I wouldn't put you off that at all. He's got a 3.58 road ERA and a winning record. So there's ticks in boxes all over the place for Quantrill. Ticks where you wouldn't expect to see them kind of instinctively. But Frankie Montas has been pitching well. He got a revenge win. I've gone for the revenge angle, Scott. I'm learning. We're talking immediate matchups, and now we've gone into revenge wins. I've got all the American stuff going on. A revenge win last week at the Yankees. But in his last 6 starts, he's pitching to a 3.55 ERA. So, yeah, another low-scoring game here. Both teams are very capable of batting quite anemically. So I'm going to stay with the unders. I'm going to take under 9.
I do want to ask you, by the way, I made a bit of a hot
Yes.
take yesterday with Lonte because we were talking about Quantrill, and we were talking about who Cleveland might try to trade for at the deadline because they need an arm. They demote half their starting rotation. Gavin Williams got called up. So far has not been very good. I mentioned Quantrill returning to Cleveland. Can you see that, or am I kind of talking out of left field? Because I can see that. I think Colorado's going to be selling. Obviously, makes sense.
Of course, yeah,
So.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it makes sense the fact that they know him. Do you know what I mean? They know what they're going to get with him. Who's the other? There's another Guardians pitcher kicking around as well. At some point, I'll try and think of him. Ex-Guardians pitcher who could find the way back there as well, who's been pitching okay. Can't think off the top of my head, Scott.
Yeah, Paradox is asking how often somebody returns like that. Not often. That's why I'm asking, because I feel like he ended up in Colorado and he's kind of rebuilt himself a bit because he was pretty good for Cleveland for a couple of years, and then he was atrocious his final season. So I feel like he kind of ended with a sour note, and now Cleveland is using, they got Bybee, who I like. They got Carrasco in the rotation, who's not very good. He struggled again yesterday. And right now they are cruising to a division title, and they have a shot at best record in the AL, and their rotation is a mess. I think Quantrill's a cheap buy guy, isn't he? You could probably, the Rockies will be selling him for anything, so you probably can look for a couple of mid-level prospects. You get him back. He's had a good year. I think it makes sense. As you said before, they're familiar with him. I think it checks out. Why would Colorado keep him? The team's terrible anyway.
Well, yeah, Colorado, a bit like the White Sox. Absolutely, everybody is on the table and available for trade there. When is the trade deadline? That's creeping up. That just after the All-Star break.
I want to say it's the 31st every year, but I'm not sure if that's actually true
Okay.
or not. So let me just quickly check that.
Okay.
Sorry, hang on a second. I just want to find the exact date, so let me pull that up. But I think it's the 31st. I think it's the 30th.
Okay.
So there you go. I was close. It's like it's always right before the start of August.
Yeah,
So apparently
okay,
it's the
got you.
30th now. I thought it was the 31st every year like Paradox did, but it's the 30th this year, apparently.
Fair enough. We will move on. It was 7:10 Eastern first pitch between the Oakland Athletics and the Boston Red Sox. Joey Estes for Oakland, Brian Bello for the Red Sox. Boston are minus 180, Oakland plus 160. Total here is at 9.5. Joey Estes, I was so proud of myself last week because I tipped Joey Estes. I talked him up, being a big fan. Been waiting for him to do something like he did, and he threw a complete game shutout against the Angels. I wasn't sure he was going to do that, but I did think that he was going to go well. Yeah, absolutely delighted with that last week. Now, as much as I like him, this is another baseball rule. So we've gone from immediate rematches, the revenge games, to do you fade the pitcher off the complete game or the no hitter or whatever? That's something else that you have to do if you're gambling baseball, apparently. So I think I have to fade him here, not completely, because Brian Bello is a bit of an enigma. Now, I've liked Bello for a couple of years, but he was really, really struggling. He's got a 5.19 ERA, faded him last time, and he pitched well. However, he's really, really hard to trust because he just hasn't been able to run up a sequence of games. Now, the total here is high. The total's 9.5, but I don't trust Bayo. I think Oakland can hit some home runs off him actually tomorrow, and I'm going to fade Estes. So I'm going to go over 9.5, Scott.
Yeah, I feel like Oakland's just one of those teams that you blindly fade on the road and you kind of consider backing them at home. I don't want to give them the full Rockies treatment from years past, but it feels that way because Oakland is randomly capable of scoring 19 runs in a game against Baltimore, and they did lose 2 out of 3 in that series. They were competitive in a decent amount of it. And they go on the road and they can't even look like a AAA team half the time. So I'm going to fade Oakland. Boston came off of a series win against the Yankees. They've been solid. I think that they are a very underrated baseball team. I've been praising them for about a month or so. I think that they're a solid team. I think Boston has the weapons to make life difficult for Oakland. They steal bases, not so much recently, but Devers went crazy against the Yankees. We know O'Neill has some power. Rafaela in the 9 spot's been very good. Connor Wong's been a solid average guy this season. They're just a very balanced lineup, and I kind of appreciate it. And even Romey's been pretty good recently. So I think looking at Boston, they have a lot of weapons. I think they can generate a lot of chances against Estes, and I want to fade Estes off of a phenomenal start. So I think I'm going to go with Baltimore. I think I'm going to go with Boston minus 1.5. I know Bello has not been great, but I do think that this price is pretty generous when you're considering how bad Estes is on the road. He has a 70 ERA in 27 innings pitched on the road, and we know the Athletics are really bad in opposing ballparks. Oakland this season is 12-33 away from home. So give me Boston minus 1.5.
Trivia time, Scott. You put me on the spot a lot. I've got you here.
Yeah.
Rafael Devers, how many home runs at the New York Yankees?
In his career? At the Yankees or against them, no matter where they're playing?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say, because at Yankee Stadium and the overall rivalry is 2 different things. So I'm going to say he has 29.
Must be at the Yankees then. He's got 16.
Okay, so I'm going to go with 17. Okay. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
I give you the answer. You still got it wrong. Yeah, half a point, Scott. Half a point. Not a bad guess at all. We will move on once I've told you about Circa Millions and the Circa Survivor. $16 million guaranteed prizes getting Circa Millions. You pick 9 NFL teams ATS each week. for $6 million, or you can run the Survivor Gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. You need to sign up in person at Circus Sports between now and September the 7th. And you can use a proxy to play from anywhere. We've got a deal with a proxy, footballcontestproxy.com. Save you $50 with the promo code SGP. And if you are betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights. Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's projections have been red hot for the WNBA and the golf lately. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. 7:45 Eastern first pitch is the Kansas City Royals at the St. Louis Cardinals. Michael Wacker for the Royals and Andre Palante for the Cardinals. Cardinals -115, Royals -105. Total 8.5, Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas City in this one. Walker's been pretty good recently, looking at his numbers for the last couple of starts. Yeah, he's been solid. 6 innings, 1 run against Tampa, 5 1/3, 1 run against Cleveland, 5 innings, 1 run against Texas, 5 1/3, 2 runs against San Diego, 6 innings, 2 runs against Tampa. Yeah, he's been solid. Like, there's really no other way to describe it. I mean, 7 innings, 2 runs against the Tigers, 6 innings, 1 run against the Mariners. I can keep going, but that means he has allowed less than 3 earned runs in, I think, 8 straight starts. I think, well, let me just do the math here.
Written down as 9 starts, Scott. 3 2s and 6 1s in 9 starts.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I got 8. I redid it. I got 8.
Okay.
Point is, though, he's been solid, so I'm going to back him. Palante is a pitcher I really don't like. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he goes much length, and I think that Waka's better. So give me the Royals at what I think is a pretty decent price. I see even money, so I'll take the even money.
Whenever I open StatMuse, it always wants me to look at Andre Palante's stats. I don't know why. I'm not interested in them. Every day, not just when he pitches, every day. It's like, come and have a look at Andre Palante's stats. So I have today. Yeah, well, I got 9 game starts, but I might have miscounted. It's possible. You can't argue with that at all, can you? Like I say, 1-1-1-1, 2-2, 1-1-2. Palante had 1 bad start in his game log. But he's been all right, He's been spot on. And St. Louis are on a good stretch of winning his starts. I trust both pitchers again here. I mean, neither of these offenses are stunningly good. Bobby Witt Jr. has actually gone to the top of the hits list. 119 hits. Bobby Witt Jr. has. He is now leading MLB for hits for the first time this year. We're seeing St. Louis tonight in a 2-0 game in the top of the 7th. So, yeah, and more totals for me. I'm going to take the under 8.5.
I think my concern with Palante is that he tends to not go much length. He went 7 innings against the Pirates, but he also pitched phenomenally well. So I think looking at his overall average performance, usually 5, give or take, I kind of want more length. I don't really trust this Cardinals bullpen. So Waka's been going at least 6 mostly. So I think that's good enough for me. So I'm going to lead the Kansas City.
8:10 Eastern first pitch. The Minnesota Twins at the Chicago White Sox. It is Bailey Ober for the Twins and Eric Fedde for the White Sox. The Twins are -160. The White Sox +140. Total here is set at 8.5. Bailey Ober has been absolutely outstanding lately. In his last 4 starts, he's pitched 27 1/3, including 1 complete game, and has given up 5 earned runs. Also struck out 35 across that. 4 games, 35 strikeouts. So if the books aren't too alert, try and find an over K-prop possibly. However, handicapped Eric Fedde last week when he was on the road. Total different proposition now. This time he's at home. Excellent. 7 starts at home. His record is 4-1 with a 164. It's another total. This time I'm going to limit it because obviously the White Sox are very capable of throwing this away. The White Sox I don't think they've won a game where they've scored less than 4 runs. So they need a lot of things to fall right for the White Sox. So I don't want to back Fedde outright. I'm going to take a first 5 under this time, Scott.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you. Fetty's been solid. He's another trade candidate for a lot of teams. Ober's been great, and Minnesota has done well in his last couple of starts. They've won 4 of his last 5 starts by at least 4 runs. So I do think Minnesota on the run line is worth consideration, especially if the White Sox bullpen comes in because that bullpen's terrible. Minnesota's been great. They score a bunch of runs. They're fun to watch. Miranda gets on base 4 times a game, basically. So yeah, I'll go with Minnesota, but I do think the first 5 unders worth a look. I like both pitchers.
Is Miranda's hit streak still intact? I think, isn't he 12?
No, it ended.
Did he blow that last night? Did he? Okay.
It ended 2 days ago. He had 12, then he got out, and then he had a pinch hit single in the game yesterday.
Okay.
So he's still been like, I think he's like 13 of 14 at this point, which is
Must have
insane.
been that must have been when I was snoozing when you and Lonte were lullabying me through Sunday night. Gio's telling us that the Royals Cards game looks very, very weather affected, possibly for Tuesday. 90% rain all day, so delays or postponement in that one. If you're having a total bet, maybe look at the weather forecast there. 8:10 Eastern first pitch is the Miami Marlins at the Houston Astros. Trevor Rogers goes for the Marlins, left-handed pitcher. Houston are officially TBD, but I believe that it is Ronel Blanco. And Houston are minus 222 here. The Marlins plus 162, and the total is 8.5. Scott.
Yeah, Houston's been in good form despite losing the game on Sunday. I have to see if Jordan's going to play because I know he ended up sitting. Got hit by a pitch on Saturday. I was not surprised they sat him for Sunday. I don't believe the injury is serious. They were just being cautious, so we'll see if he's healthy for this one. Rogers, yeah, is 1-9 record. I'm good. I'll take Blanco and the Astros minus 1.5. Team's been solid. Now Miami looked good over the weekend against the White Sox, so congrats, I guess. But Houston's been in good form. Give me Houston minus 1.5.
Well, I'm back on the totals again. But if you did give me $20 and put a gun to my head, I would take Miami in this one. Rogers pitched really well in June. I know his record's horrible, 1-9. I get it. But he pitched to a 3.56 ERA last month. And I really don't think he's carried much luck either. Which again sort of contradicts that horrible, horrible record. Blanco is showing a little bit of consistency. 0 to 3 earned runs is pretty much his range. And Houston have been winning. Miami did win back-to-back games over the weekend. But I think only the second time in forever, second time in 2 months or whatever the hell it was. Rogers been competitive. So I'm looking at a first 5 under again. Blanco should go well. Miami is shit. But I think Rogers can pitch okay. And if he gets that little bit of luck, even a first 3 under, Scott, very rarely we go that low on the show, the first 3 under. But I think that's a possibility as well. Rogers can possibly just get left in a little bit too long. He kind of pitches okay. Then all of a sudden you snap your fingers and it's 5-0. Or so yeah, first 5 under or a first 3 under. Miami at Houston. Okay, where are we going? 8:10 Eastern is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Milwaukee Brewers. Pittsburgh are officially TBD here. I believe it is left-handed pitcher Martin Perez for the Pirates. Colin Rea will go for the Brewers, who are minus 164 at home. The Pirates are plus 138 underdogs. Total 8.5, Scott.
Yeah, Milwaukee, we know, is the better team. Pittsburgh looked good today, so we'll see if they can keep that rolling. But it's really tough for me to go against the Brewers. I'm not a big Martin Perez guy. I don't think I ever have been. Rhea's been good so far this season. Now, I was not a fan of him going into the year, but I have to give him props. He's been solid. So I think I'm going to go with the Brewers in this one. I think Pittsburgh, once again, is a team that might be playing better baseball right now, but you said it might be Martin Perez. I don't feel good about backing him. I think Rhea's fine. I'll take Milwaukee at home.
Yeah, I got the same pick. I actually like the Brewers on the run line here. Perez has thrown the odd good start, but inconsistent. His last 5, 0, 6, 1, 2, 9. So, that's an example of where you are. Pittsburgh have lost 3, his last 3 in a row. two of those were against Atlanta, so you can kind of give them a bit of a chance. But a 5.97 road ERA as well is a problem for Perez. And Reyes been absolutely great. You nail on the head there, Scott. I think he fully deserves his 8-2 record. 2.83 home ERA. The Brewers hit left-handed pitching okay. I think the absolute key to this game is the home road split to the starting pitchers, and sometimes that's as far as you have to go. Over a 3-run differential between the home road splits. And the Brewers are by far the better team as well. So, yeah, Brewers on the run line. I am off the totals, thankfully, for the first time in about 7 games. And I'll take the Brewers to cover the handicap. 9:38 Eastern. First pitch is the Texas Rangers at the LA Angels. We have Max Scherzer for the Rangers, and Roansy Contreras will go for the LA Angels. Plus 140, the Angels. Minus 160, Texas. Total 8.5. Max Scherzer has now had 3 games this season. I think the key stat when I was looking at Scherzer across his 3 games is the 0.84 whip. He's not letting anybody on base at all. And you can trust him. I've no issues. I don't think he's going to turn up tomorrow and potentially blow up. I don't think he's got a wobble in him. He will be fine. Contreras, I saw the name Contreras and there's no first name next to it. And obviously, there's quite a lot of Contreras in baseball, and it was Roansy. It was a blast from the past. We used to handicap him a lot as a starting pitcher for Pittsburgh. It was quite a fun pitcher. So I don't really know quite what's been up with him. He's obviously bounced around a little bit. He's now had 2 short starts, both against Oakland, but both have been all right. But this is different. Texas are in good form. Texas had a little 1-6 stretch and have now bounced back with a 5-2. So Texas in better form, and I think they're going to pose a whole different set of problems than the Oakland offense were for Roansy Contreras. So it's a second run line, and I mean, Scherzer, I can't pick holes in what he's done so far. Texas on the run line, Scott, should be a nice price.
Yeah, I'm with you. Scherzer's been good. The Rangers have been good. Seager's been in solid form, and I do think that the Angels are still not a good baseball team. So I'll fade Contreras, who I think is occasionally good, but I'm not sold on. He's walked 18 guys in 35 2/3, given up 34 hits as well. So based on that, you can infer that guys are going to be on base in this matchup. Probably not a good sign for the Angels. Give me the Rangers minus 1.5 at around even money.
Yeah, Contreras is easy to root for. I'd like to see him get back into some sort of decent form, but yeah, I'm happy to fade him tomorrow in this. But 9:40 Eastern first pitch, the Seattle Mariners at the San Diego Padres. For Seattle, it is Logan Gilbert. For San Diego, it is Adam Mazur. The Padres are plus 125. The Mariners minus 145. The total is 7.5. Scott.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle in this one. I'm not a fan of Mazur at all. I don't think he's any good, to be honest. And San Diego's bullpen's been underwhelming recently. Fell apart in the 3 games against Arizona. I mean, they won the game with a walk-off on Friday. They blew a massive lead in the 9th inning. The bullpen was terrible in extras against the Diamondbacks on Saturday, and then they were terrible on Sunday. That game was 1-1 and then ended 9-1 for Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I don't like San Diego's pitching. I'll say I don't like their pitching options for this matchup, either with the starters or the bullpen. I like Gilbert. Gilbert's been good, especially for the last couple of weeks at this point. So, yeah, give me Gilbert here. I think Gilbert's a solid pitcher. I think that he is the better pitcher by far in this matchup. And San Diego is kind of slumping. Tatis is still out of the lineup, so I'll go with Seattle. I think San Diego is not a very good team.
Yeah, same pick, Scott. I've got Seattle here. Gilbert did give up 4 against Baltimore last week, but he's been great on the road. The Mariners have won his last 4 starts. Mazur's been very hittable, but the Padres have scored 20 runs in his last 3 games to get him out of the shit. Now, I don't think that's sustainable, and I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. They're going to find it a lot harder against Logan Gilbert. So Seattle are a very fair price here. The old 1.5 at round about minus 145. The penultimate game on the show is the Arizona Diamond. No, yes, it is. Sorry, it's the Atlanta Braves at the Arizona Diamondbacks. And right at this second, I see a pitching change. I had Charlie Morton handicapped all day for this one, Scott. And I'm now looking at it and seeing Chris Sale going for the Braves. Zach Gallen remains the pitcher for the D-backs. Now, the odds tell me that the lines I've got must be for Morton and not Sale. Are you seeing Sale or Morton, Scott?
I see Sale for Monday. Are you sure you see Sale for Tuesday?
Yep.
ESPN has Morton, so I don't know. Let me check.
Are Atlanta playing today? I like a little bit of live. Atlanta have Bryce Elder going today.
Yeah, start got pushed to Tuesday. ESPN's really bad at updating this stuff. Okay, RotoWire said they're pushing Sale back to Tuesday because why are they doing it? I don't know. They're spacing him out. So, yeah, he's pitching on Tuesday.
I had Atlanta at plus 105. Well, Atlanta aren't going to be plus 105 for Chris Sale. If they are, quickly, everybody run to the books and have a little look because they might not react. So, yeah, that is going to change. Zach Gallen, he's struggling for rhythm. There's really no patterns. I mean, this time last year, he was absolutely fantastic. He's got a really good record against the Braves in his career. Both teams are in decent form. They had quite good weeks. I could see a few runs, but this Sale for Morton is now completely thrown me, Scott. So I'm not sure where to go with it.
I mean, I like Sale, so I'm probably going to end up going with Sale. Arizona's been great recently, though, offensively. So that is kind of the scary part here. Arizona's offense has been rolling, especially Walker, who is right now not an all-star. I'm assuming he'll replace Harper, if I had to guess, but he deserves to be an all-star. He's been great, especially lately. So maybe you can make an argument for Arizona, but I'll tell you what, it should be a fun matchup. As I do like Gallen, and Gallen's good at home pretty much every year. But the Braves were good over the weekend against Phillies. So I thought about an over, but I can't do it because you have Sale against Gallen, so that I can't do. I think I might actually lean to Arizona. I think solid, but I'm going to back the hot offense. I think Gallen can somewhat match Sale, and I think Arizona's dangerous. So I'll back the hot team. Give me Arizona. Bit of a hot take there.
Gio in the chat has given us minus 125 on the Braves, which would make it round about plus 105 on the Diamondbacks. In that position, Sale and the Braves at minus 125, I think it's far too good to pass up, actually, against a wobbly Gallen and a wobbly Diamondbacks. Yeah, so I'll take Atlanta if those odds are accurate. Thanks, Gio. Last game here is Jesus. I'm going to let you do this, Scott, because I knew this would be tying you in nuts here. This is a 9:45 Eastern first pitch between the Toronto Blue Jays and the San Francisco Giants. Left-handed pitchers for both clubs. The Toronto Blue Jays have Yusei Kikuchi going, and the Giants have Blake Snell going to the mound. It is minus 130, the Giants, plus 110, the Blue Jays. Total is a 7.5. Scott, all of your favourite psycho things in one game. What have you got?
Yeah, so on first glance, I'm going to lean to the over, but I think I'm blindly going to lean to the Blue Jays. I might not be a big Kikuchi guy, but I definitely don't want to lay money with Snell after, first of all, he's been terrible for the entire season. That's one. Two is the fact he has not pitched since June 2nd, and I don't like the back guys immediately off the IL. So even though I'm not a big Kikuchi guy, nice comeback, though, by the Blue Jays yesterday, rallying from multiple runs down against Seattle. Plus money fading Sale, that's good enough for me. I'll lean to Toronto.
Yeah. The total's really low, isn't it? 7.5 far too low?
I linked to the over. That was the first thing I looked at, but I think Toronto's price is off.
Anyone backing Snell at minus 130 shouldn't be allowed money for a start. So get in touch and we'll get the bank to freeze your assets. We'll get someone to take charge of that. I can't back. If I really struggle to back the Blue Jays, I don't know under what circumstances I would back the Blue Jays at the minute. The Giants are hitting left-handed pitching a little bit better, or kind of 25 points better than the Blue Jays. I was trying to find any old shitty angle in here. The total's too low. Total's too low. Over 7.5, Scott, is what we'll do. Okay. 15 games. We got them all in the book. Well done, Scott. It is time for our lock and our dog. I'm going to struggle with a dog here. I've just got loads of totals. Right, what have you got? And I'll try and plagiarize something off you.
All right. So I'm trying to think of what I want to steal from you because you're already in a tough spot. So I got to figure out if I want to try to rob you
Okay.
from a play or not.
You bad man.
I mean, there was actually a lot that I liked, but I feel like a lot of the stuff can technically qualify for a dog, actually. Thought about Cleveland. I mean, Cleveland at 140 is kind of appealing. But do I want to take them or do I want to go with maybe a run line somewhere else? Yeah, right. You know what? I think I am going to go with the Guardians. I'll take the Guardians money line at minus 140. Maeda is a pitcher who I don't think is any good. I think Cleveland is in a line to perform pretty well. And Lively's been solid this season for whatever reason. He's one of the only good pitchers this team has. So minus 140, I don't hate. I think it's a good number. The idea that we mentioned it before, that the Orioles are bigger favorites against Imanaga than the Guardians are against Maeda, the math doesn't check out. The math is not mathing, so I'll go with the Guardians there. Did think about, actually, you know what? Don't want to go with that. There might be a bonus lock. I'm going to pass on that, actually. I'm going to let you have that. Give me the Rays first 5 team total over 1.5. We're going to fade Rodon. I got to go back to it. Rodon is a pitcher who I think is atrocious, and I don't know how his record's so good. He randomly pretended to be a good pitcher for about 2 months, and then he went back to being bad. So I'm gonna punt to the Guardians play. I still like it, but I do think that Rays first 5 team total over 1.5. You keep putting it 1.5 against Rodon, I'm gonna take it. So give me the Rays first 5 team total over as my lock. For my dog, I had a couple of baby dogs. The question is, though, do they actually count? Like, I thought about the Rangers, for example, on the run line, but that's like even money, and that's a little bit too cheap for me to actually get away with. I don't think you'll let me get away with plus 105, so I'm not going to actually take that. What do I want to go with here? Sorry, I'm just trying to find something. You know what? I think I am going back. Oh boy, there are a lot of plays that are close. I'll go with Cleveland minus 1.5. I'll go with Cleveland minus 1.5 at plus 112. I think Cleveland is a team, once again, that I wanted to back on the money line anyway. I think the price is too cheap. Cleveland's the better team, and Maeda can get shelled. So I am going to back Cleveland, but as my dog. So once again, I just said a lot to get through a little. Give me the Rays first 5 team total over as my lock. My dog will be the Guardians minus 1.5.
Wow. Why use 20 words when 10,000 will do, Scott? That was impressive. Very good.
Thank you.
So, for my lock, you mentioned so many teams then. I kept having to change my mind. I need to get this done quickly. I'm going to take the Cubs as my dog. On Imanaga is better than he showed. Kramer, I like Kramer. He's not a minus 165 price pitcher. Obviously, the Orioles are very, very, very good, but this is close. Imanaga could easily turn up and spin a gem tomorrow. Could very, very easily. And for my dog, I think I just want for my lock. Sorry, I want the over in the Yankees race. You faded Rodon. I'm going to carry on the same. Fettel and the Yankees can get to Pepiot as well. He'll go 4 2/3 or whatever. And then they can finish the job off. And that total is too low. So I will take an over 8. Finally, Scott, if you could do this in under 20 minutes. Dingers. Who's hitting one out tomorrow?
Yeah, so I think I actually am going to go back to that Cleveland game. Thought about a Rosarena, decided not to because he swings and misses too much. I'm going to go chalk here. Give me Jose Ramirez. I want to fade Maeda. I think Maeda stinks. And I think that Cleveland has a good opportunity to go yard a couple of times against Maeda. So, yeah, I could have picked maybe Kwan for the massive bomb shot. I know he had one the other day. But I'm going to go with Ramirez. I'll keep it safe. I think Maeda might get destroyed.
Okay, like that. I am just having a little scan down my numbers. I was looking at James Wood, but we've got a lefty-righty issue there. I'm going to go with Pete Alonso. Why the hell not? Let's get the polar bear back in the winner's enclosure. off Jake Irvin. Jake Irvin has pitched well in the past. He's pitched really well. In fact, I think he's been a very profitable follow as Irvin, and he might well get the job done tomorrow, but not before Pete Alonso. I think it's been confirmed for the home run derby in the last couple of days. Alonso's going to go again.
Well, it's his World Series, so he's going to have to do it. It's his 5th year doing it.
He's got. Has he got 2 wins under his belt? I think
it's at least one. I think it's 2. I think he went for the 3-peat and waltzed, so I think it's 2.
Yes, that rings a little bell. Oh, well done, mate. Beautifully done. 56 minutes of rambling. Enjoyed that a lot. Do you have anything to tell the people before we let them go?
Not really. Got a tennis show later. Not sure what time. Might take a nap. So at some point in a couple hours, I'll do tennis.
Okie doke. The chat was buzzing. I really appreciate it. Paradox, enjoyed your contributions by all means. Get back in at every possible juncture. Gio and Trev. Kev was in earlier on as well. Eric had a little bit of a chat with us. Serial, Captain Insano. So yeah, appreciate everyone joining us. It does make the show a gazillion times better. We will be back at some point tomorrow. Hopefully, Munaf's back online and guiding the ship for the rest of the week. Good luck with your bets. I am going to live watch a stunning 9th inning comeback from the Nationals, which is going to happen in the next 20 minutes or so because they're costing me money right now. But until then, we will see you down the road. Cheers.